Got all the stuff right. Everything right. All right, thank you.
That little creek you see over there on the east is Turkey Creek, and it is named that for all those wild turkeys that roam these hills. Now, along these waterways, you'll probably see some ducks, geese, turtles, or the ever so elegant great blue heron. Other wildlife in this area include white-tailed deer, coyote, fox, or even a bobcat. And occasionally we do get black bears that just wander up here from Arkansas. Up in these hills ahead, you might see a red-tailed hawk or bald eagle flying above the train, or more likely, a turkey buzzard or two. Yes, these turkey vultures, or buzzards, as they're known around here. They are rather common yet useful birds here in the Ozarks. They are a large black bird with a wingspan of nearly 6 feet. Now, I realize an old buzzard really isn't that attractive to look at up close, but I think you might agree. They are quite lovely and graceful as they soar above the hills and valleys up ahead.
It's interesting seeing all the water and how fast it's moving.
As we cross the Turkey Creek Bridge up ahead, we shall begin climbing a long hill called Tharp's Grade. We will ascend this grade for the next 8 miles. Now, along these tracks, there used to be several long high wooden trestles, and some of those were easily over 100 feet tall. And they sure caused lots of headaches and expense for those men who had to maintain the right-of-way. So in 1907, the Missouri Pacific Railroad began the arduous process of filling in these wooden trestles, which, as you can see, created these man-made earthen embankments we are riding on today. Now, it did take a number of years to accomplish this. You see, there were 284 wooden trestles crossing 239 miles of track. Matter of fact, it was not until 1980 that the final one was buried.
They got a 2-man recliner sitting out there on the grass. Shovel. Oh, it's a driller. That was an old drill.
Up ahead, if you're looking towards the east, there in the distance, you might notice a flat, grassy hillside. Kind of looks like an earthen dam. If you missed this one, we're going to pass by that one here in just a moment. That is actually part of the runway for the Branson Airport that opened in 2009. And yes, that is man-made. We filled that in because, well, obviously there's nothing flat here in the Ozarks. That's right from me. With black lettering. It's about 6 inches high and 2 feet long on its post, and it'll be easily viewed by those of you in the lower levels, so you folks in the domes might not be able to see it.
So we kind of start coming around the curve. All right, just in about any second here, we'll see it.
And welcome to Arkansas, folks. Now, coming up will be the Crest Tunnel. It was named that because it lies at the crest of Tharp's Grade, which is the highest point of elevation on our journey at 1,200 feet above sea level. And that is 500 feet higher than the Branson train depot. It was cut through solid rock from 1903 to 1904.
Yeah, just in time for the tunnel. Good timing. Here, I'll get that door for you back here. I'll get that door for you.
cool trail there.
Now, those men who worked here inside the mountains used steam drills and dynamite. And with that, they could clear about 5 to 10 feet of rock per day. And even after adding a night shift, it still took nearly 2 full years to complete the 3,485-foot-long crest tunnel. And that, doing math, is just over 2/3 of a mile of solid rock and utter darkness. Well, as we clear the tunnel, I'd like to tell you about our locomotives and the vintage cars you are riding on today. Now, we do have a locomotive at each end of our train, and both were built by the General Motors Metro Motor Division for the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. All the passenger cars on our train were built by the Budd Company of Pennsylvania in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, and they were all owned by Branson Scenic Railway. So let's begin with that locomotive in the front of our train, if you will, in our current direction of travel. Well, that one is number 99. It is a 1963 model GP30M with 16 cylinders, producing 2,000 horsepower and weighing in at a whopping 300,000 pounds. It was rebuilt in 1982 and used in freight service for the B&O and the CSX up until 1994. It was purchased by the Branson Scenic Railway in 1995 and repainted in 1999. So we got to renumber it appropriately, locomotive number 99. Now behind that we have what is known as our power car, and that essentially takes care of all of our electrical needs like lights and airflow. Now, for those vintage cars you're riding in today, we'll begin with the Silver Eagle. Well, that was built in 1949 for the Texas and Pacific Railroad. This coach has 60 reclining seats and once spent time in the Indiana Transportation Museum after it was retired. Later, it was restored and leased by Amtrak, then finally purchased by the Branson Scenic Railway in April 2001. Next, we have the Silver Garden, where you can find me today. That is a dome buffet and lounge car built for the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad in 1952. Well, it worked on the Kansas City and American Royal Zephyr trains for Burlington Northern up until the birth of Amtrak, which was in 1971, when the majority of the nation's passenger services were turned over to them. Following this is everyone's favorite car, the Silver Lake. Well, that's our 1952 buffet and dining car, once known as the Casimir Pulaski when it operated for Amtrak. It was added to our Ozark Zephyr fleet in 1997 as our concession car. And that's where you need to go for all those vittles, fixins, drinks, and goodies. Also, just so you're aware, they will be shutting down for business for the day on the second half of our trip as we pass back through the tunnels. Next, we have the Silver Terrace, also built in 1952 as a Vistadome, parlor, and observation car. It was part of the original order to equip the Kansas City Zephyr. Now, this particular car was purchased by the Branson Scenic Railway from a private owner back in 1998. And then we had it completely refurbished and finally got to join our fleet in December 2001. Then there's the Silver Island, where most of us entered from. Well, that is a 1947 dome and lounge car, also built for the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad, which served on the Denver Zephyr and later worked for Amtrak on various other Zephyrs for the Burlington Northern. Following that is a beautiful 48-seat dining car built in 1956 for the Burlington Railroad we call the Silver Chef. It worked on the Twin Cities Zephyr and later worked for Amtrak on the San Francisco Zephyr. It joined our fleet in 1997, and we use that for those dinner trains on Saturday nights. And our final and oldest car is the Westport. It was built in 1939 for the Atlantic coastline. It actually worked on the Champion train, which was known to take the rich and famous from New York to Florida on vacation. It too is used for our Saturday evening dinner train, which is such a delightful experience, recreating those dining pleasures of days gone by. And last but not least, our locomotive at the other end of our train, which you can also see on your ticket stubs, water bottles, souvenir cups, and so much more. Well, that one is number 98. It is a 1951 Model F9 PH type designed for passenger trains. It produces 1,800 horsepower and weighs in at 250,000 pounds. It was rebuilt in 1982 and used in passenger service in Maryland for the MARC commuter service. Then joined our fleet in 1995. We again had it rebuilt in 1998 and thus renumbered it the iconic locomotive number 98. region we're passing through is known locally as Rainbow Ridge, and that means we are approaching the Walnut Creek Trestle. Now, originally this trestle was built out of wood over 100 years ago, and soon you will be 113 feet high above Little Walnut Creek. So if you're able to, get to the lower east side of the train for a rather unique photo opportunity.
Come over here for love.
Once again, if you can, get to the lower east side of the train, look down the length of it to either end, and you will see the curvature of this bridge we're crossing, and our train on top of it.
can take it.
Alrighty folks, get ready for the most spectacular view of the entire trip. This will be the Barren Fork Trestle, and soon you will be 122 feet high above the Barren Fork branch of Bear Creek. Here are folks, welcome to the Barren Fork Trestle and a beautiful panoramic view of the Ozarks.
Oh, wow.
Now we are going to come to a stop here shortly, for this is our return point back to Branson. Now, if you would please take a moment to locate your train tickets. Need to check those ticket numbers, which are located at the bottom center portion. If your ticket number has a circle drawn around it, would you proudly hold it up for everyone around you to see?
Is that us?
Got
Okay.
one?
We got one down here.
Alrighty, congratulations all those with the circle ticket numbers. You bought the one-way ticket.
Uh-oh.
So, watch that first step getting off. It's a doozy. Oh, I'm just kidding, obviously. No, we do certainly hope you're enjoying the trip so far, and we know you're bound to spot a few things on return that you probably missed getting out here, like the waterfalls and the water wheel. All right, well, as a reminder, folks, I'd like to keep in mind we need to use caution passing between the cars. Do not stop or linger in those areas between the cars known as vestibules.
Turn around, Joe.
Parents, again, you must accompany your children each and every time they leave their seats. That includes those restroom, concession car trips, or just out and wandering. And kids, no running or jumping in the aisles or on the stairways. And again, for health and safety, we require everyone to keep their shoes on their feet and their feet off the seats.
Just stick your tongue out
Well,
at me.
I'm going to do everybody a favor now. Just be
Not
quiet
me.
for a bit
No.
and play more music for you. When we get closer to town, I will
My
have
beautiful
more
travel mate
information.
there.
Would
So I
you
do
stop
hope you
it?
enjoy the rest of our journey. I'll be back in a little while. and that means we'll be crossing over Lake Como once more. And if you recall, back at the beginning of our trip, I promised to tell you more about how it became a cold water lake. So, as I said earlier, it was built in 1913, but it really didn't do a whole lot to stop the flooding of the White River. In the 1920s through the 50s, floods did considerable damage to downtown Branson. For example, in the event of 1945, the Branson train depot was almost completely submerged. So because of these occurrences, the Army Corps of Engineers built Table Rock Dam just upstream, and Table Rock Lake was formed in 1958, and that created a huge body of water, stretching some 80 miles, with over 800 miles of shoreline. Now the water is about 250 feet deep at the dam, and it is that cold water drawn from that depth that flows into Lake Como, and that keeps its water temperature about 40 to 50 degrees nearly all year long. It is also annually stocked with over 1 million catchable trout, making it one of the best trout fishing lakes in the country. We'd also like to tell you that the Branson Scenic Railway is an active supporter of Operation Lifesaver, and that is a nationwide railroad industry-sponsored program to reduce the number of accidents at railroad crossings. Here's some unfortunate facts you may not have known. Why, just last year, over 1,200 people were killed or injured in the U.S. while illegally walking, bicycling, or playing on railroad tracks. A motorist is 20 times more likely to die in a collision involving a train than any other highway vehicle. And sadly, over 50% of railroad accidents occur at crossings where active warning devices do exist. So folks, please, before you cross any tracks anywhere, make sure you look, listen, and live. Those few seconds you think you're saving, are they really worth your life? Just so you're aware, we are returning to our switch here in a moment. We're going to make a stop and then get lined back out onto our side track. And from there, we shall proceed back to the depot. Now, once you do get in completely and securely, and we're sure the train will not be moving anymore, I will then make the announcement when it's safe to depart the train. So please remain seated and wait for the announcement. Do not be standing or blocking passageways, as there will be crew members moving throughout the train. And as you exit, we ask you to dispose of any trash you have in the proper receptacles. And do make sure you have all your personal items with you. And as a reminder for parents, when exiting, please hold your child's hand as you walk the platform back towards the depot. And we do ask that everyone please stay away from that yellow line next to the train. Thank you very much.